Good morning, my lovelies. Today is day 3 of our sew along. Today we're going to be working on the back seam, the shoulder seam, and the side seams. Pretty easy day, it shouldn't take you more than half an hour. I think the most tedious days were printing the pattern and cutting the fabric, but the rest will be much faster, I think. So start with the back seam. If you've cut your pattern pieces as instructed in the tutorial, you will have a back seam. So what you will need to do is place your pieces right sides together on the back, and then sew the back seam with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. If you remember, on day 1 I decided to do my fabric on fold on the back, so I don't have a back seam, so I'm skipping that step. Next step I need to do is sew the shoulder seams. So for that you will need to place your fabric right sides together, matching at the shoulder seams, easy peasy, and sew them with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So this is my fabric. You have to make sure though, like mine would have been wrong right now, you have to make sure that the sleeves go in the same direction. You want to make sure that when you place them right sides together, your sleeve armhole is correct. So if I did them as I had the first time, it wouldn't have been correct. So let's sew this with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Find that your fabric may be too heavy, especially if you're doing the maxi dress, you might want to add clear elastic in the seam. So when you sew it, place a strip of clear elastic away from the raw edge, because if you're doing this with the serger, you're gonna removing a 1/4 inch. So place it away from the raw edge and sew elastic in it, clear elastic. And of course we're going to repeat the same thing for the other shoulder. An inch seam allowance, which means my serger is removing a 1/4 inch. So this is my shoulder seam, this is my arm. So right now we're going to have to sew the side seams. What we need to remember, that we need to leave an opening for the side seams for the tie to go in it. So one of the sides will have to have an opening and one will have not. So I'm going to match my side seams at the arm opening and just put a few clips. So we have the notches here from when we cut the pattern. See, you have 2 notches right here. So that's how we'll know where we'll be stopping. I am doing this step on my serger. It is encouraged in the pattern to do this step on the sewing machine because it's easier to get the fabric to the seam allowance. I'll show you how I do it quickly on my serger though. And I don't need even finish the raw edge, because once you put the cord through it, you honestly won't see anything there. So if you want a nicer finish on the inside, do go ahead and follow the tutorial. But I will just stop sewing, and because it's neat, it's not going to unravel. Okay, let me pin the other side too. I might need to check which side I have to have I never seem to remember which side has to have the opening and which does not. I don't think it makes a difference as long as you make sure you add the long tie to the right side later on, but for the sake of the sew along I might need to double check. I think it's on the left side, but it's been a while since I've sewn the pattern. Alright. So on the wearer's, actually, no, it's on the right side. So this is, with the wrong sides together, this is where we'll leave the opening. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew the seam, side seam with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I'm going to stop a little bit above the notch and just curve to a 90-degree angle. For the other side, I'm going to start like this and then I don't want to sew with my sewing machine. But if you want to have the nicer inside finish, do the side seams according to the pattern, because you will have a nicer finish. Okay, so this is a side seam with the opening. In my case, if you did this correctly, you could just split the side seam open and press a lot easier. In my case, I'll just do the notches that I seem to have forgotten to do before. But to be honest with you, I will just leave it like this. I don't even think I'm going to bother to press it inside. It's not visible to the naked eye if you don't press it like this. But of course, if you do, and if you want to stitch around it, you can. It's gonna yield a nicer finish. If you just want to put a little stitching around it like a rectangle, I'm not gonna bother with that. Alright, so this is from the outside. See, once I put my tie through it, you won't see it. So I will just leave it like this. So now for the other side, we're going to repeat the same step, sewing from the opening here all the way down without leaving the tie opening. But maybe double check something. Correct. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So that's it. This is the last step of the day. So you have sewn your back seam, your shoulder seams, and your necktie. So for today, you're all done. I told you this will be a quick sew. So if you look at it, it's going to look like this right now. From the inside. So take a picture of your progress and post it in the day 3 photo comments of the Sew Along album, and this will count as your check-in for today. And I will see you back here tomorrow when we'll continue our Sew Along. Bye!